Made it to Marcy's podcast.
I don't know if this is my podcast.
Big
time. I do think podcasting is a good idea for anyone who wants to start one for real estate, because there's a lot of realtors in Oklahoma that actually have a podcast. Whenever I was doing my research, I was like, interesting. I don't understand Spanish. I mean, I had to buy Frida Kahlo tickets the other day, so I was like, I guess I'm buying the right thing because I can't. But
You should start a real estate podcast called Spanglish. Business idea. Business idea.
All right, guys. So we're at Keller Williams Mullenix, and I'm with Jason Pound. He is a real estate agent. I am a real estate agent, and so today I'm interviewing Jason. And tell us who you're married to.
I'm married to the Jerica Pound.
There you go. How long have you guys been working together in real estate?
9 years-ish.
Okay.
About 9 years ago is when it started.
Okay. So what year did you get your real estate license?
No clue. I'm not detail-oriented at all. So 2024 minus 10 is 2014, so 2015-ish maybe? 2016. The boss said 2016.
Okay. What's your production for this year?
0. I'm a ghost. I don't
Okay.
exist.
Jerica, what's your production this year?
Right now we're at over 8 million.
Over 8 million, and that's how many units?
32.
32 units.
We're
Cool.
on track to hit slightly over 40 units and
Yeah.
slightly around 10 million.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Good job, guys. Good stuff. Okay. So you did something else before real estate. What did you do before?
Well, I've been married 23 years, and
Mhm.
we counted it up last year, and I've had 24 different jobs.
Okay. What was the job right before you came on full time here?
The job before full-time here, the first time was banking. The second
Banking.
time I was a school teacher.
School teacher. Okay. Which one do you think prepared you the most for being a real estate agent?
Obviously, the banking gig.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
I would think wrangling a bunch of kids. Like, that's my opinion. But I've only been a teacher. I've never been a banker.
I think I still
All
smell like a banker. I can go to the mall right now and attract 2 or 3 real estate investors like that.
Okay.
They just smell me and come running.
That's
And I don't want them.
that's weird.
I don't want the price
That's
point.
weird. Okay, cool. So when did you were a school teacher? When did you stop that and come back into real estate full time?
Basically, at the height of COVID, I didn't realize it, but I'm slightly claustrophobic.
Okay.
And having to wear the mask all day in the classroom, I would have panic attacks, and I'd have to go out to the hall to breathe. And I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I'm either going to rebel and get fired, or I'm going to go do something else.
Okay.
So that was basically it.
So in 21?
About 4 years.
Okay, 4 years. Cool.
I don't do math anymore. I taught math, but I don't do math.
You're a real estate agent, so maybe you need to do a little bit.
It's all that fuzzy math.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So you both work together. So what is your job, Jason, in the business?
We were just arguing about that 3 minutes ago.
You were arguing about what your job was.
Yes.
Okay.
We struggle with the division of labor.
Okay.
Because each time we figure it out, our production grows, and then we have to refigure it out.
Okay.
Right now, as many of y'all know, we execute the 72 sold
Right.
listing system.
Right.
And as a part of that, we do all of our own showings. So I'm basically the showing agent for our listings.
Okay. That's a lot of showings.
Yes, it's not uncommon for me to run 20 families through a property in one day
Okay. That's a lot.
with their agent, by the way.
That's a lot of talking to agents too.
It is.
Cool. All right. Well, that's probably another podcast. Talking to agents as you go through the show, as you go through the listings. Cool. All right. So anything else that you do in the business besides showing? I feel like there probably is.
I consider myself the hunter of the group.
Okay.
if we need to do some cold calling, if we need to knock
Mhm.
some doors, I'm the battering ram. She's the finesse. I'm the battering ram.
Okay. So you do a lot of the
So when it comes to negotiations, dealing
Okay.
with other agents, any transaction you can think of where
Uh-huh.
finesse is needed,
Mhm.
she's going to be doing the talking. And any part of the transaction where you need a tail hole or something like that, I'll be doing the talking.
Okay. Okay. So do you think it's beneficial to work together in the way that you are, and what changes would you like to make if you were to make it?
As we scale, what we've discovered is it's hard to keep all these transactions in our head like we used to.
Yes.
So we're having to change our systems and processes so that anybody can touch the file and immediately be up to speed.
Right.
Right now, we are failing forward at that.
Yes.
So our next person is probably going to be a full-time hire, helping us manage our database and our pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
so we can both be full-time producers.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, Jerica is mainly handling contract to close. I'm not detail-oriented at all.
Okay.
And it's not her strength either. Neither one of us is operating in our strength. It's time to 100% farm that out and go back to what we do best, which is working with clients and our network.
To get them under contract.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So would you guys split up the listings and the buyers in that situation?
I think it'd be more personality driven.
Okay.
People are attracted to us as a package. They tend to be attracted to us because I'm the loud, sparkly one.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they're around me more, they get irritated and realize she's the more settled one, and the relationship grows deeper because of her.
Okay.
I'm like the fish lure and she's like the net that traps them.
Okay. That's,
And
that's
then-
an interesting visual.
And then as the relationship grows, there are certain clients who like my flavor, and there are certain clients who prefer her flavor.
Mhm.
And so we take turns being the relationship lead on each transaction based on the personality type.
Okay.
But with her handling contract to close and me just going out killing fresh meat all the time, that's where we're getting lost in the shuffle right now.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
growing pains are right there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I work with my husband also. And so I actually handle almost everything that gets to go under contract. And I make him do the stuff I don't like.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Which is showings typically, and going to home inspections. It's the worst thing I've ever done.
I hate the TRR. I'm just
Well,
like, I don't want any part of that.
okay.
I just want to get them under contract, move on to the next client. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the TRR skill set is where agents are going to set themselves apart
Yes.
in this next 12 months.
Yes.
So I'm trying to lean into that more and more.
Okay. So how are you learning that process then with the TRR?
First time I watched her a lot because I
Mm-hmm.
think I've been back in real estate like 4 years now.
Okay.
So really watching her, she has this Zen capability. Now on the inside, she's a boiling storm, but on the outside, she has this resting bored face. And she'll get on the phone with somebody and you'll hear she just sounds bored. So I do this all the time. And then she hangs up the phone and you hear her go, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I had no clue you were under that pressure.
Yeah.
So learning how to keep the emotions out of it is what I really learned from my wife.
Yeah.
Because I'm an emotional person. I like to ride those waves.
Gotcha. Yes, it is really important not to get emotional during a repair list because they will feed off of that. And then you have a mob of angry humans.
A mutiny.
Yes. And being able to calm the other agent.
And we have agreement on hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
But it's the principle of that
It's
$150
The
part.
principle.
They'll
Absolutely.
shoot the whole deal over $150.
Yes. But if you just act like the $150 is not a big deal, usually it's okay. You can get it done, right?
That's another thing she's taught me is quit sharing my opinion.
Yes.
Deliver the information. Let them react,
Yes.
and then you guide them appropriately.
Right.
I'm always trying to pre-position and
Because then you
and
create
guide 'em
problems and you can't
That's
create problems. Yeah. If it's not a big deal to them, then don't talk about it. It's fine. All right. So when was it confusing whenever you guys first started working again together? Like, did you go through any growing pains that you kind of had to work out?
Well, this is our third or fourth time we worked together.
Okay.
So while we were engaged, we sold shoes together at Dillard's.
Oh.
After we were
that
married,
couple. Okay.
she was an insurance agent for State Farm. I was
Okay.
a production manager for that agent. So
Yes.
we worked. I actually managed her. That was there.
I wish I had a camera on Jerica's face because she's like,
Well, she was my direct report. I don't know how much I managed her. We were in the church world together. I was an associate pastor. She was a music pastor. We worked
Mhm.
together in that environment for a long time.
Mhm.
About 9 years ago, the first time I got into real estate, after about 6 months, she said, "It feels like you're stealing my business from me." And I went to go teach school.
There you go.
It was a wrap, Jack.
Get out of here. Thank you.
This next time I came back with a much more collaborative attitude.
Okay.
And I had a lot less of the business figured out
Okay.
and showed up with the proper amount of humility.
Okay.
And we have now experienced the proper amount of success because of that, I think.
Right. All right. So you talked about 72 sold, and that's one of the ways you're getting listings specifically, right?
Mhm.
So what are the other ways that you guys get your business?
Well, we've branded ourselves with 72 sold as our selling system.
Okay.
And that's what's allowed us to differentiate ourselves in the market. Our actual lead generation methodologies, we have gone all in on networking.
Okay.
Jerica has been a part of BNI
Mm-hmm.
about 9 years, is it?
What does BNI stand for, Jason?
Business Networking International.
Yes.
And as a banker, they came after me hardcore, and I
Mhm.
never wanted to network because A, I don't like people.
Mm-hmm.
B, I don't want to spend time with people.
Yes.
And C, every time I network, they try to sell me their products, and I don't
Right.
want to buy from people.
Right.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Which is how I viewed networking. It's just bad chicken at an event that nobody wanted to be at, having shallow conversations that sucked and not getting any business. That's what networking was to me.
Yeah.
Watching her in BNI, she started developing relationships with vendors. She started knowing their families. She
Mhm.
started getting involved in their lives. They started hanging out, knowing each other, liking each other, trusting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, they're trading clients. And I'm over the phones just pounding out cold calls. You want to sell? You want to sell? You want to sell? No, no, no. Go to Hades. No, no, no. Leave me alone. And she's just getting deal after deal after deal. And I'm working way harder than her. So I wasn't down with that. It sure felt like it. At least.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe I should try this BNI thing. So I started my own chapter, and I learned that givers gain. The more business I give away,
Mm-hmm.
the more I get back.
Mhm.
It's just magical, and it's no longer limited to BNI. I realized that I have my own sphere nationwide because of Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And the more I give in that sphere, the more I get. So it's been a mindset shift for lead gen. I've realized that we can build our own platform with the technology that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and we can be authentic to who we are, and we can attract people who know us, like us, and trust us for who we are. And I no longer have to be the chameleon, all things to all people, the way I used to be.
Right. So with BNI, can you explain a little bit about the group and how it works?
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of people will hear this and go, "Oh, that's easy. I'll just go create my own group." The problem is if you don't have hooks and levers, or hooks and bats, hooks and carrots, whatever terms all of us teachers used to use, there's no level of accountability. So it's a pay-to-play model, and there are certain metrics that you have to hit or you get kicked out of the club.
Mhm.
And if you're paying to play, you don't want to get kicked out. So everybody is motivated to show up. And that's the number one problem with networking groups, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is most people want to play networking. They don't want to actually do networking.
Mhm.
So BNI, like Keller Williams, believes in systems, processes, and models, and they have a pre-made recipe. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. If you don't do this, you're out of the club. If you do this, you'll get success. And what do you know? The people who follow the models and systems, they experience success. One of the secrets is they only allow one of each industry. So there's one realtor, one lender, one insurance person. and it creates a loyal alliance that we go out to the marketplace and we're looking for business together. It doesn't mean I stop networking at the chamber. I stop increasing my Rolodex and my network. It's just, this is my A team. And of course, when you give out a referral, you give out 1, 2, 3, a A, a B, and a C. But you're going to set your A team up much more hardcore than you are your B and your C team.
Yep.
But you still need your B and your C team, because through seasons of life, your referral club grows and shrinks based on what's happening, because membership changes, and you need to know other lenders to bring in, other insurance folks to bring in. And if you're not networking outside of your network, you won't have people on the bench ready to become your trusted ally.
Yeah. So what are the things that you do each week to be successful in your BNI group?
Jarek and I have committed to having one-to-ones with everybody in our chapter once a month.
Okay.
So I have everybody in my chapter set up on a recurring appointment that I don't even have to think about it anymore. Good. And so I'm having intentional network meetings every single week, and it's getting harder and harder to find gaps in the calendar, because you have to have your lead gen time, right. You have to have your client time, you have to have your family time. And so I only have a certain amount of time for networking. And once that's filled up, it's filled up.
Yeah. So what adjustments will you make to that to make it a little bit easier?
As we scale, we're probably going to start dividing and conquering. Right now, we try to do everything together. But as our network has grown, we're probably going to I'm going to have to be brave and go to some networking by myself. But that's basically it. We can divide and conquer, and we can grow that much more. We're also becoming more strategic and efficient. Like we're on a nationwide call of realtors that are part of BNI and a part of Keller Williams. So it's like a double affinity network. Yeah. And our relationship is that much deeper. And we're already trading referrals with those folks nationwide. So finding out ways that we can be more effective and increasing what we're doing. And that comes through thinking outside the box at times. And I'm not too good at that.
No. So I wanted to ask you about that, because for Keller Williams, there's a few people that have had success with a networking group within Keller Williams. And I think it's called the Millionaires Business something. Yep. It's at Mega Camp. I've seen a few different people talk about it.
There's levels to this. She gets invited to stuff that I don't even know about.
Just listen. Just listen. So that's why I was asking Jason about the networking stuff, because I think sometimes we don't fully grasp like what networking is. And I was in BNI before, like not as a real estate agent, but as a personal trainer. So I know what he's talking about with this. And I developed some of probably my closest friends. And actually it's the reason I got into real estate in the first place, because Joanne Stiles was in my group and I trained her for like 4 years. So yeah. Yes.
She's good people.
Yes, she is.
We just did a transaction with her.
Yes. Excellent.
By the way, there's a BNI story there. The person whose house we listed used to be a BNI success coach.
Okay.
Both of us are in BNI. The inspector was in BNI. The roof inspector was in BNI. Yeah. The contract they chose was $20,000 less. They took less money so they could have a realtor who was BNI and a lender who was BNI.
Okay.
The entire transaction was a network of everybody that knew everybody, and it was one of the smoothest transactions I've been a part of. Good. It's so cool when your network is large enough to be on both sides of a transaction.
Yep. So I bring this up to say, like, even if you're not interested in doing like a BNI group, because there are, how many chapters are in Norman now? 3 or 4?
I think there's 4. I think they're trying to put a 5th one in.
Yeah. So that's fine. And there are certain ways that they run their meetings. So they still meet once a week. Okay. Once a week. It's a lot. 7:30. Sometimes I'd be at the gym before that. So it was really fun. I don't get up there early anymore. Yay. So during that, you do kind of an elevator pitch. Do you have one that you've done recently that you could?
The thing that BNI has taught me is to not be the realtor that stands up, says, anybody who needs to buy or sell a house, you send them to me. Right. Because they're not going to think of you. So you want to be as specific as you can when you're asking people for business. So my last BNI meeting, I specifically asked for people who were getting divorced. because the husband knows a realtor, the wife knows a realtor, and whichever realtor is chosen, the other side is going to feel jaded and scorned.
Yeah.
Why don't you get a realtor that doesn't know either one of you and has to convince both of you to hire on? That way you both win and you have the smoothest transaction possible. Now, when they go out and run into divorced people, they're going to be thinking of me. And there's a lot of divorced people out there that need us. That's just one example that BNI has taught me. Specificity.
Specificity is very important, and I learned the same thing in BNI. So even whenever and we're not just talking about being in a networking group, even whenever you're on the street or talking with your friends, like if you tell a story and you're very specific about, whatever you're talking about, like, oh, I just closed this real estate deal and it was a Noble and it was a USDA and they didn't have to pay any money out of pocket. That sticks in people's brains more than, I do a lot of business.
I help everyone.
Yeah. Like, it's totally different. It's a completely different connection with someone.
When I first got into networking, I'm telling people, hey, anybody needs to buy or sell, they would send me pictures of new listed properties in their neighborhood, thinking they're helping me.
Right.
I'm like, bro, you're like 30 days too late.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but you could go find a buyer. I'm like, I could, but
Sure.
that's not how this business works, bro.
No, it's not.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Perfect. So if you want more information about BNI, definitely ask these two. If you want more information about the Keller Williams one, I know where the playbook is. So I can get that for you. And they model it around like teaching the MREA. That's what it is. So like helping businesses become more business-like, kind of like how we want to be, right?
And one more input on this networking thing is you are creating online allies that will boost your content, which is what we should be for each other. So every time I see something that Danielle posts, a lot of times I don't even look at it. I just go, I want to support Danielle, like, or heart, and then throw a comment, ha, 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 ha. And sometimes I didn't even look at it, and I might be laughing at a funeral picture. I don't know. But I just know I want to support Danielle, and I do a lot of posting and ghosting on social media. I'm not on there scrolling. I don't really enjoy it the way Jerica does. I don't get anything out of it. It doesn't feed me. But I know, and like Penny, and I want to support her stuff. So that's one of the values of it is we're an alliance, but your network can and should be an alliance for you as well. And that's the power of networking. So inside of the KWBNI national call, I've picked up last week. It was last week or week before I was on a call. I connected with like 2 or 3 of them, and now I have 3 new partners in different states boosting my online content. And they're probably doing the same thing, haha, like, comment, and not even reading it or watching it, but they remember my name and they want to support my efforts, and I'm doing the same for them. So now my feed's bigger than ever. So if I like something that I shouldn't have liked, I'm just trying to support you. I apologize.
So what are your Facebook posts like?
One of my lender buddies told Jerica, every time that boy sneezes, he posts. Basically, about 3 years ago, I committed to documenting my life. Most of you don't know, but I fought bipolar depression most of my life. And this little birthmark thingy there, that's a burn mark from the rope. That came the day before I got sober. Jerica gave me an ultimatum. She said, you can have me or the liquor, and I couldn't do without either one. So I took that way out, and I was quite disappointed when I woke up the next morning. But that being said, I forgot why I went down this way. What was the question?
We were talking, I forgot too.
Social media.
Social media.
Oh, social media.
Documenting your life.
So about 3 years ago, because of what I've been through, when I get real and I talk to other people about it, I find that they have their own suck in their life. I'm not unique at all. Everybody has hurt and pain. And the more authentic I am, the more I attract people who like me for me and want to do business with me. So 3 years ago, I committed to posting 1 to 3 times a day, something that I wanted to see pop up on my memory line 1 year from now. And now every single day I have good memories popping up from anywhere from 1 to 3 years ago. Before that, I was nothing but a Facebook troll. I was on there to stir up some mess and get people mad. And I just had fun doing that.
Mhm.
And Jarek is like, no wonder our business can't grow. You're out here countering everything that I'm doing. So I made the commitment. I'm going to post things that I want to see on my memory line and that I'm not ashamed of. And I just started posting in it. I like old cars. I like fish. I like weird mailboxes. I like going on showings in quirky houses that aren't cookie cutters. I just started consistently posting those things. And then I realized, oh, people should know I'm a realtor too. So on over half my stuff now, there's always some realtor angle, but it's just this dorky redneck Jason living out his life and showing you what he does on a daily basis. I'm a boring realtor who likes to fish, who has an awesome family, and I just keep showing that every single day. And I don't care if I get 0 likes or 10 billion likes. It's not for you. It's for me in 1 year, so I can see what an awesome life I've had. And my commitment to that has turned into a business that's almost 10 times bigger than it was 3 years ago. And I get emotional about it because I didn't realize that I could just be me. My entire life, whatever comes out of what wants to come out of my mouth the first time is the wrong thing. I have always had to go, whatever I want to say, think about it and say the opposite. Any of you watch the show Dexter? You know, Harry taught him. He's like, shut up. Whatever comes to your mouth, say the opposite. That's how it's been my entire life. And 3 years ago, something happened and I just started being me. And the world, there's people in the world who like me. And they want to do business with me. And the ones who don't, that's cool. There's other flavors out there. Go be with those realtors.
Yeah.
And I no longer have commission breath, and I'm no longer greedy. It used to hurt if I saw Danielle succeed. That was business that I had lost. Danielle won and I lost. And now I look at it and go, yeah, she's with Keller. Get him, girl. You're making me look good. It's still selfish. It's just a different version of selfish.
Yeah.
I'm selfish for us as a species rather than selfish for me as a person. And that change has changed everything.
Yeah. And that's just, you're just more specific. That's more about the specificity. Like you're specifically being yourself. We can't be everything to everyone. Like not everyone, someone said that to me the other day, not everyone's going to like you. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Because I definitely don't want to talk to them. So.
2 cats up here.
Yes, we are both cat people.
I didn't know that. I'm 43 and I didn't know it till I was like 40 or 41. I'm a cat person.
Yes.
I thought I was a dog person. I can't stand them things.
Yeah. They're too loving.
It's like, I'm done petting you. Go away.
Yes,
Go
get
away.
out of here. Oh my gosh, absolutely. All right, so you said that people connect with your Facebook posts. How do you know that?
I was quite discouraged for a while because, you know, you get 10 or 11 likes and you go look at your friend's page and every time they post, they get 200 likes. And you're like, what in the world is going on here? And then I realized that most people are like me. When we do get on and scroll, it's like high speed. Just, oh, there's something interesting. All right, I got my little dopamine hit, back to work. It's nothing personal. It's just there's so much noise out there. Well, I realized that every single person on my production board, at the listing appointment, at the showing, in the first 10 minutes, actually probably in the first 30 seconds, they're going, catch any fish today?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know? You never liked my stuff.
Doesn't matter.
Apparently, everybody in my freaking database has been watching me and I didn't know it.
Yes.
So I got off the roller coaster.
There you go.
And all of a sudden they respect me.
Yes, I noticed that too. Like I post usually about a book a week that I've read, and no one likes it, which is fine. But then like I'll have in-person conversations with people, and they're like, "Oh, you know, I read Attica LaRue. I really liked it." I'm like, "What? You read it? Like, and you didn't? I mean, that's fine. I guess you didn't say anything, but I did not realize that they were watching because you just don't know." Whenever you're
Same thing. I've been I've been addicted to self-help now for 5 years. That's the journey I've been on. And so every day I post a snippet of what I'm reading. I don't even tell you what book. I just highlight it and say some statement about it, how it impacted me. And books have just started falling out of the sky at me. Everywhere I go, people are like, oh, you want to read this? Oh, well thank you. Oh, you want to read this one?
Yeah.
And my book list is too long now. I can't read everything that everybody's throwing at me.
Right.
But yet when you look at my post, it's like 3 hearts and maybe a share if I got lucky. I'm like, is anybody seeing this?
Right.
But
At least they do show us now like that people see it. I don't know if you're a digital creator, but you can see how many people actually.
Is that why people are being digital creators?
Yeah.
I've been declining friend requests. I'm like, digital creator. Decline.
It's because on your personal stuff you can see how many people have seen it.
I'm such a boomer and not a boomer. God. Digital creator. I guess that's what I am now.
Well, also with the digital creator, you can have more friends on Facebook. There's an upper limit that's higher than the regular.
See, I told y'all there's levels to this. I hadn't hit my friend limit yet. I didn't even know.
Okay. So you said you really like self-help.
Mhm.
So do you usually read paper books?
So in my hat here,
Mm-hmm.
this is some of the swag put out by Andy Frisella. He's the creator of 75 Hard.
Mm-hmm.
I live the 75 Hard program, and one of the tenets of that is you read 10 pages of a physical book each day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how many skills I had lost because I'd gotten out of that habit. I'd listened to hours and hours of audiobooks. I even tried getting into reading electronically on my phone. I really didn't like that. I really liked the audiobook. But there's something about physically holding it, taking the time to read it. It just sticks in a different part of the brain for a different reason. So if I'm trying to consume the information rapidly, I'll do the audiobook because I can put it on 2 times speed, and I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that I want to sink into my heart and my soul, like You Are the Mountain, Atomic Habits, those 2 books I'm reading over and over. I probably read both of those at least 6 times this year. I only allow myself to read 10 pages of it a day, and I read it and I think about it. And when I'm doing my workout, I'm thinking about it. And as I'm falling asleep, I'm thinking about it. It's making the material more meaningful and more impactful. But consuming the information fast works too. It's just hitting a different part of my brain. So at any given time, I'm reading probably 7 or 8 books at the same time. I have trouble sticking with one very long, but on my 10 pages, I do 10 pages till I'm done. I don't jump on my 10 pages.
Gotcha.
But my audiobooks, I'll go all over the place.
Yeah, no, I understand. I definitely go all over the place with my audiobooks also because I fall asleep listening to audiobooks. Handsome thinks it's wonderful because he learns things at night.
Jericho's like, can you turn that down? Like, sure, as soon as you turn off TikTok because I can't see. We love each other.
Yeah. So what is it that you like about You Are the Mountain that you're reading it so many times?
Probably the topic. It's about self-sabotage. In my entire life. I'm not a person of faith anymore, but in the scriptures, it talks about the great cloud of witnesses. And it's not what they meant, what I'm about to say. Paul meant something else. But my entire life, there have been a negative cloud of witnesses in my head, yelling and screaming insults at me. And You Are the Mountain taught me that I had control over the microphone and I could tell which voice that I wanted to listen to. And I didn't realize I had the bad habit of intentionally listening to the wrong voice. And by just changing which voice I listen to in my head, my life has changed. And You Are the Mountain continually reminds me that the battle is not out here. It's in here. And once I can frame things correctly, I can take proper action and always improve my position. Always. There's always something that can be done to make the situation better. And the more I read You Are the Mountain, the shorter the lag time gets. We have to have a safe word, Jericho and I. I'm going to tell everybody it's a safe sentence. Whenever she looks at me, and if y'all hear this in the office, she says, "Let's get naked." That does not mean I'm about to get lucky. That means shut the F up, turn around, and get out of here before I drop kick you in the neck. And
very different meaning.
And it works. I know I've crossed some line. I don't know what I did. My tongue is very sharp and I'm very emotional. And my lag time has gone from about 20 minutes to now. A lot of times I know as I'm turning away what I did, but I need to let her cool off. Even though I'm already over it, I get over things instantaneously. I've already dropped the nuclear bomb and the damage has been done. So I've already forgotten what the question was, but that's an important part. Oh, my lag time. It's that lag time. You're the Mountain has helped me shrink the lag time from about 20 minutes to about 3 minutes. And I need to get that closer to 1 to 2 seconds to be more effective in real estate. I'm too emotional still, but hey, 20 minutes, 3 minutes, that's a lot of growth.
Yeah, it's a lot of growth. I haven't read You Are the Mountain, but I have read When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal. And it's the same author. And it's not as popular, and she wrote it before You Are the Mountain. But that one, and Stephanie, did you read that one as well?
I have read not all of it.
Yeah, you don't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing with it. And I think You Are the Mountain is similar. Like, you don't need to read the whole thing. It's fine. It's totally fine. But
about 3/4 of the way through, you're just like,
yeah,
I can't take any more of this fluffy shit. But I made myself read it anyway.
Yes. And she has a new book that came out called The Pivot Year, and I really want to read that also, but I have not because my TBR is about 60 books long. And I'm pretty picky about what goes on it. Okay, so you also said Atomic Habits.
Yes.
Why are you reading that so much?
So one of the bold laws is motion equals emotion, and emotion equals motion. It's an equation that works both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not realize that my entire life, once I had the dopamine hit, I was quitting the action that caused it. So I could make one cold call and get the dopamine hit that I lead generated today. And all of a sudden I'm thirsty, and then I've got my glass. Oh, now I need to pee. And then as soon as I get back, Brett drops by. And next thing you know, oh, come on in, man. I'm not busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. But, it's just realizing that your life is the sum of the consequences of all these little bitty actions. And that my entire life, I worked hard in spurts, but never consistently. And that ice freezes at 32 degrees, not 33. You work your butt off to get it from 50 degrees down to 33 degrees. And with 24 jobs, I am a master of planting the seed and leaving the day before the harvest. And that's what Atomic Habits taught me.
Okay.
Is you can reap the harvest. Just be consistent.
Yep.
To time on task over time.
Yes.
And Atomic Habits is helping me be consistent.
So what's one of the things you talked about lead gen? Is that the main example that you have for the Atomic Habits mindset?
I have applied the Atomic Habits mindset to my mental health first, because when my head is right, my business is right. I have been free of my thorn in the flesh now since August of 2023. I went into an MRI machine and had a panic attack, and I would not allow myself to hit the escape button. And I forced myself to go through that traumatic event. And when they let me out, I ran to the parking lot. But I did it. And ever since then, I don't know what's happened, but I now have control over that thing. I still have the ups and the downs, but I now control the ride, how high and how low I go. Atomic Habits applied to my mental health means that I live a routine life. I need to go to bed at the same time. I need to wake up at the same time. I need to work out at the same time. I need to eat at the same time. I need to read at the same time. I need to regiment my life. That's when I'm living my best me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my wife's a hippie. She can't handle that. She gets bored. She starts sabotaging me. And so she'll take breaks and then she'll come back. And then she'll take breaks and then she'll come back to doing it with me. Because that's where we spend our time together. I really enjoy it. But I understand when she does it too, she needs a break. But by getting my life regimented, I'm no longer wasting my life. I am now being intentional. And I haven't lived intentionally my entire life. I've lived emotionally, riding the wave, which was fun when it's up, but what goes up must come down. And by being more intentional through Atomic Habits, I'm finding that middle ground. And I feel like I've reached the Oklahoma of business. I'm not like the East or West Coast where it's always, it's just boring, consistent growth year over year. And I'm loving it.
Good. Yeah. I think, and I really think that people do the same thing every single day. It's just like, what are they doing during those time periods? Like, are you watching TV for 4 hours a day? Sometimes I do that. I'm just, I'm coloring typically while it's happening or journaling or something. Maybe I'm scrolling on the phone at the same time during the day. So it's kind of just about replacing those habits, or not even replacing them, but adding something on top of it. So it's not as like, you don't want to do that as much because we're going to do those things, right?
And those cycles also show up annually. Now that I've been documenting my life for 3 years, the things that are popping up, it's weird. I was doing the same things as I was 1 year, 2 year, and 3 years ago within 3 to 4 days. It's weird. And I don't even remember it till it pops up in my memory line. Oh my God, I just did that yesterday. Oh my God, I'm scheduled to do that tomorrow. We are in cycles.
Yeah.
And the quicker we realize that, the quicker we can get control of the levers and the knobs of our life and start having control over the outcome by controlling the inputs.
All right. So we talked about the reading, Atomic Habits. I've not read that physical copy. I've listened to it several times. And then You Are the Mountain, both really good books. Any other books that you would recommend?
I have a long reading list. How to Win Friends and Influence People will keep you from being a tailhole, which I naturally am one. The 48 Laws of Power changed my life. You can either read it as a roadmap on how to be a psycho, or you can read it as a roadmap to, these are the tools of the psychos out there, and it will make you aware.
They don't allow it in prisons. They don't allow that book in prisons.
And it's legit. Yeah. It's a powerful, powerful book. The next one, let's just stop there.
Okay.
The 48 Laws of Power is a big one. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Oh, well, there are books that saved my life. Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership.
Yep.
He's the one who taught me everything is my fault. As a manic depressant, everything's my fault. But now I'm like, yeah, it is my fault. What can I do different? For example, our son missed basketball tryouts. He was supposed to own that. Well, look in the mirror, Jason. It's your fault. What should you have done? Let's help him get better. So Extreme Ownership helped me quit blaming other people. I'm a master of blaming other people. The next one that changed me was 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. I was suicidal. I was overweight. I was angry at the world. And I probably shouldn't admit this, but I was contemplating some violence out there. Unhappy people hurt other people. And that book opened up my eyes to know there are things that you can control. And his first rule was clean your room. And I started by cleaning my part of the room. And I now do that every day. It's just a part of who I am. So those two books saved my life. I wouldn't be here had I not read those two books.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I completely agree with cleaning your space. So one of the things.
And your grill.
And your grill. Yes. I really like there's this idea in Japanese culture, it's called kichiri, and you'll watch like sushi chefs will do it. And you have things on your desk and you just straighten them. That's all. It's just straightening. That's all it means. So that's like kind of the beginner level of the cleaning, right? Like you're just straightening everything on your desk, and it brings a little bit more calmness.
And it gives you confidence that I did this.
Yes.
I can now do this, and it
Yeah.
can keep expanding.
Yeah. Good. Okay. I would love to hear a couple of questions from you guys. For Jason, not for me. Anybody have a question?
Probably not.
Let's why don't you come up with a question? Like really think about what else you want to dig into with Jason. Yes, Peggy.
This is personal.
Oh,
What's the first thing that pops in your head in the morning when you wake up?
So what's
Do you wake up with an alarm, or you're so routine that you can wake up on your own without an alarm? And then what goes through your head when you wake up?
So what's the first thing that pops into your head when you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up with an alarm or no? How does that work for you?
4 or 5 years ago, maybe even as recent as last October 1st, but since October 2nd of 2023, my life has changed. That's when I started doing 75 hard lifestyle. Before then, every time my alarm went off, no matter what time it was an immediate negotiation with myself. Am I going to get up? I know I need to get up. I've set my alarm 15 minutes early so I can go back to sleep and snooze. It would irritate Jerica. I would have a snooze that would go off like every 2 minutes for 15 minutes straight. I kept losing the negotiation with myself. When I started 75 hard, there was no more negotiation. The decision had been made before the moment arrived. I don't know when it started happening, but now when the alarm goes off, there is zero internal dialogue except maybe one word. That might cross my mind, but I immediately roll out of bed, get up, and start executing. There's zero negotiation. And when I need to do things, my bold coach last year taught me. He said, say this whenever you need to do something that you don't want to do. Successful people are successful because they do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. 3, 2, 1, hit the dial button or whatever it is, make it happen. And using that trick, I have managed to skip the dialogue process, and I no longer lose negotiations with myself. The moment I give the microphone to the cloud of witnesses up there, it's high likelihood I'm not going to succeed. I cannot let them into the conversation.
Good. Perfect. One more question.
My current bold coach, he was asking for ahas today. And he was like, just pretend y'all had an aha. Make up one for me.
Make up a question. This is a practice. You have to get better at it, right? What's the question?
I do have a question.
Yes, Stephanie.
And Jason, thank you. It has been amazing. And you and I have had a lot of conversations over the years. And, I think when you first start this journey, right now you're such an inspiration because you've been practicing it. What did it look like in the beginning? I mean, was it messy? Was it chaotic? Was it?
So what was this
was
journey
it a shit
like
show? I mean,
in the
serious.
beginning?
What
What was your first step?
was the first step in getting started? Was it a decision?
There were levels of decisions. My first decision was to live. I couldn't imagine life without alcohol and without Jerica. So I chose to die, and I couldn't even do that right. So pardon the language, but what fucking choice did I have? I was forced to live. I didn't have the guts to use a gun. didn't have the guts to pull the car off the highway. Luckily, I didn't know jiu-jitsu then, because now I know how to do it properly. Then it was the decision to replace bad habits with better habits. Went from alcohol to dipping 24/7, waking up, sleeping with it. I got to where I didn't even spit anymore. I just swallowed it. Got gum disease, and Jericho wouldn't kiss me anymore. So then I went to weed. And then I was smoking every 2 weeks or every 2 hours a full blunt. I smoked them like cigarettes. Most of y'all have not known me sober. I'm California sober. Meditation got me down to like 2 or 3 a day. I still smoke. Even now, I'm to the point where I'm not sure if I need it anymore, if it's just a habit. But meditation got me out of that. October 2nd last year, I made the decision to start living the 75 hard lifestyle. But before that, it was the decision to read the book 12 Rules and realize that if you read the book or listen to the podcast, he writes a chapter about lobsters. And once a lobster loses a fight, they never fight again. It melts their brain. And I was in my 30s, I was 3 steps away from being the CEO of a $6 billion bank. And then 2 years after that, I was bankrupt and almost lost my entire family. We had to start all over from scratch. So 12 Rules for Life, the decision to clean my room, it kept me alive. Reading Jocko's Extreme Ownership and realizing I need to accept the blame and not accept it as a victim accepts it, but accept it as the captain of a ship accepts it. So October 2nd, 2023, my life changed. What's different right now? I'm in a different place. I do not ever want to go back where I was. So if y'all go back and look over Facebook, y'all will never know. But in 2022, we looked the wolf in the eyeball. We went all in. We maxed out our credit cards. We maxed out our HELOC. My mom had to buy my truck for me. 41 years old, whatever it is. I'm in my 40s, and my mom's buying my car for me. We were all in. And if we didn't close 2 transactions the next month, we were bankrupt and it was all over. The decision to fight, to go all in and believe that I can do it. Because before I played like I could, but I never wanted to do it and risk failure. Because I could always say, well, I never really gave it my all. I can go back to it. And this time it was all or nothing. And until you believe in yourself and you're willing to go all in, at least in real estate, maybe life, I don't know. You're playing the game wrong. You got to believe. And that belief has to be followed by action. And I would only ever take partial actions, and then the negotiations in my head would begin. Now, the decision's made before the event. Just go execute. Shut up, brain. Turn off logic. Turn off emotion. Just execute. That's what's changed.
Cool. Thank you.
Ooh, we went deep there.
All right. I do need 2 ahas from you guys. And this is not a speech. This is one sentence. Sorry, not you. You're up here first.
Says the tomcat. Says the cat.
Who has an aha they want to share, please? I'm asking you to share this because that's the only way you learn. Okay? Yeah.
I want to say you can do anything you put your mind into it, and you can actually change your entire life. Only if you want to.
Yeah, you can do anything if you put your mind into it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Who else?
I guess I will.
Jerica.
That what looks like easy is not easy.
Right.
And it takes, people don't see all the uglies and the hard times, they just see the success.
Mhm.
But understanding and knowing that we're all human
Mhm.
and we gotta go through that crap to get to the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Bailed out by my wife as usual.
Perfect. Thanks so much, you guys. There is food if you haven't eaten yet. So grab that. And we have a class at 1:00 with Dawn, and it's a CE. So you better show up.
Be there, be square.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be here. So
Thanks for
All right.
doing this, Marcy.
thanks, Jason.